Welcome to Sportbikegrrls, the podcast for women who are obsessed with sport bikes and all things motorcycle. Come join the ride. Welcome, Sportbikegrrls, to episode 7. It has been 2 months since I uploaded the first episode of my podcast. I got to interview Alyssa Klickinger, author, tour organizer, industry writer, and producer of the Women's Motorcycle Conference. The response was amazing. I just knew then that I was really onto something and that this could be the start of something pretty great. Since then, I've been so fortunate to chat with so many other incredible women, all sharing their own personal motorcycle stories. I am amazed by how motorcycles have influenced all of their lives in the most positive of ways. Each of their stories is unique, but yet shares so many common themes. The quest for confidence, freedom, mental clarity, inner peace, and always community. Women supporting other women on their personal path to being a part of motorcycling, however they choose to do so. I listen back on my previous episodes, and half the time I sound like a giddy little fangirl, but it's okay because that's exactly what I am. I'm just so in awe of all of you. Today, I'm speaking with Shiree Cano, founder of the charity SheeMotos. Her focus is working with women suffering from PTSD and helping them to cope and recover through a shared bond with motorcycling, and in particular, racing. I was blown away by Shirees' story. Riding since a very young age, she has suffered through some absolutely heartbreaking loss and tragedy in her life, not to mention overwhelming trauma. But she's without a doubt one of the most positive and hopeful people I've ever spoken with. I can't even tell you how many minutes of laughter I had to edit out of our chat, just for the sake of time. Her joyfulness is just infectious. I hope you love learning about her charity and her racing projects just as much as I did. Stay tuned. Hey, Sportbikegrrls. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 7. Can you believe it? I am so excited, and I have another beautiful, fantastic lady here with me today. Her name is Shiree Cano, and I cannot be more happy to have her here. And she, as I explained in my, I think I just said it the opposite, right? We were just discussing how to pronounce her last name.
I was laughing about it.
And I just said it the opposite.
You're so East Coast.
I can't. I am. Sorry. Anyway, this amazing lady, as I explained in my intro, she is the founder of SheeMotos Charity, working with women recovering from PTSD in various forms. She also has 2 tremendous events that she sponsors throughout the year, and we're going to talk more about both of them. Shiree, tell us what your current rides are.
Hi, Linda.
Hello.
Here, I've been seeing all of your posts.
Oh, thank you.
I absolutely adore you, and
oh my gosh,
you're the most amazing storyteller, I have to say.
Oh,
I believe why this has been so eye-catchy for me. I just have to give you some love before I talk about me, because
you're the best.
Me for one.
I
but thank you
that.
so much for supporting all of us ladies.
Thank you.
Her rides.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a few.
I know. I want you to brag on all of them.
Okay. So I'll just start with, I'm a 70s girl, grew up in the 80s, but born in 72, like you.
Yeah, but I'm still older than you, so.
Yes. We're still half 100.
Right.
I love, so I have a 1977 XS 750 triple. That is we just turned it into a cafe racer, and it's fun, and it just pretty much sits in my garage. And then I have my first street bike after Harley, my first sport bike, I should say, and it doesn't even classify that because it's upright, but I have a Ducati Hypermotard 1100.
Beautiful.
I thought I would take it on the track and crashed it first day on the track. So I guess when you take a Ducati on a track with a beer budget, you learn real fast that that's not the bike to take on the track.
Live and learn.
I race a Kawasaki 400 Superbike But my main squeezes are my fleet of KX65s, Kawasaki, teach clinics in. So love those because they're little supermotos. We call them mini motos. We cross train on them as road racing athletes. And oh man, it's such an amazing stretch of endurance that you have to learn on those little things and give you so much confidence right off the bat because they're small, right? So you're not too worried about getting too hurt, but they can hurt you.
I'm sure. I've seen the videos and I was like, I want to try that. I'm 5'9". Could I actually fit on one of those?
I'm 5'9" too, my love.
Oh, okay. Super.
And
that answers your question.
Yeah. And we're considered large for road racing. It's kind of like the concept of horse jockeys. Road racing jockeys are small, and I'm pretty large. I actually just had a guy reach out to me that is 300 pounds, and he asked me if he can ride on them. And absolutely, we have to, we'll air up the tires a little bit or whatever, and give. We try to pair weight distribution to each bike because it's clinics and they kind of share bikes, but absolutely they're built for adults, they're equipped for adults to come on and just have confidence from the get-go and really start honing in on how you lean, how you brake, how you control the throttle, where you're looking, all of those things where when you're on the street, you don't get that constant repetitive motion before you learn it. So it's a great tool that we use.
That is amazing. That is so great to know. And it never even occurred to me that would be possible and that those were actually even issues. Let's start at the beginning. Yeah. How did you start riding? What age were you? How did you learn? Who taught you? Let's hear the story.
Well, I have 4 older brothers.
Oh my, wow.
Need I say more?
Yeah, okay, got it.
But I remember like 4 years old having a phone conversation with Santa Claus, and I told him I wanted a purple mini bike, and now at Christmas time, I got a purple mini bike, and all of my brothers got bigger bike. Everybody gets like the next bike at Christmas in our house, right? So I've been riding since I was 4 years old, and I've gone through a slew of motorcycles.
Wow, that's so clearly in the DNA. Clearly. Oh my gosh.
Yes, absolutely. I just actually had a little bit of a struggle with my dad. I'm like, I've only ever wanted to be like you.
Oh, wow.
He was the guy. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. So it was a great family event, shared passion growing up for you and your brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, what did you graduate to? Did you start with cruisers and?
Well, I just finally had an opportunity to listen to your whole podcast with Atheia.
Oh, Atheia. Yes. From England.
Thank you.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm one of those sexually abused kids. And then in my teenage years, my parents got divorced, and I went from a family of a giant family, brothers, the whole nine, and no family kind of. And so I split to the Northwest when I was 19 years old. And I ended up glomming onto a biker gang. And gosh, I really feel like I was traumatized before I was even traumatized. I had PTSD before PTSD. I actually was born with a genetic mutation of the GNAC gene. That's why I have a birthmark over my eye. I had seizures and all kinds of stuff before my parents divorced. So I feel like there was so much that was happening. I ended up glomming onto this gang in the Northwest because, it's a beautiful country. And throughout that process, I had my daughter. I adopted a daughter, and I spent 8 years in the gang. I was property of the gang, and for some, what they call cuts, their leather vest. And it said property of. And so when I left, I never thought that I would be able to just be normal again. And riding motorcycles, something that gave me such pleasure because I rode Harleys. I was kind of considered the badass in that realm because I ride. And for somebody that was property of that always rode on the back, like I would have to actually end up riding guys home that were
oh my
whatever, you know what I mean? Because
sure.
whatever. And so when I got out of there, there was many years that I didn't ride any motorcycles at all.
Okay.
And I turned, ironically enough, I was living in Sacramento, and my ex's brother, who's also my daughter's uncles, they both came out with their families, and I allowed them to come to my house. I was never afraid of them. I was more afraid of the gang.
Sure.
Okay. They came out to my house, and one of them was riding a Buell.
Oh.
They were going on down to San Diego, and I convinced them to leave the Buell because they had already ridden from Portland. That leave the Buell and take my Jeep down to San Diego, and I'll ride my ex-brother-in-law's Buell, right?
Oh, nice.
So that was a big awakening in my life, and I was on a quest to find a Ducati Hypermotard or a KTM Super Duke. And the Ducati Hypermotard won.
Oh my!
So I didn't want that stigma of being a biker chick when I got back into motorcycle riding.
Yeah.
So I wanted to race, and I didn't do it until 43 years old. So this is my intro to sport bikes of Ducati Hypermotard.
Wow! And like, what did you do? Did you show up at a track, or did you find someone to train you?
I did. I befriended this girl on Facebook, and she was headed out to Femwalla, and that's a female race out here at a public. It's a race to raise funds for public charity also, and it's down in Southern California.
Oh, at Chuckwalla, right? At that racetrack.
And so I meet her on Facebook, and they were in a big convoy going down there. So then when they get back, I get invited out to the racetrack, and I take my Ducati out there, and I crash it first day.
Oh no.
So from there, I wanted to race, and that wasn't gonna stop me. So I bought first I bought an SB 650, and I felt like really lazy on that bike because I could just lay on the tank and just like kind of maneuver like a
that's
slut.
So funny.
Yeah.
Like a
and
slut.
Then which is actually kind of how you should maneuver when you're racing.
Oh my God.
But and then I got a Triumph Daytona, and I started racing for American Federation of Motorcyclists in them at 44. So
so impressive.
It's been such a crazy wild ride. I can't even begin to sum it all up into words over the course of the last 6 years, except for motorcycling is absolutely 1,000% parallel with life lessons.
Yes. And actually the video we were talking about earlier that I posted on my stories today, you're the first person who's interviewed in that. And that is exactly the words out of your mouth. You're like, what is motorcycle riding to me? Life lessons. You know,
absolutely.
Everyone, you know, you interviewed and spoke with had a different take on it, but really the same final end result, the confidence, the power, the joy
right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the bottom line for everyone, and whatever path brings them there. And we also in our earlier conversation, you made a great comment about how you're seeing so many women over 40 starting to ride, which I find fascinating. I love it so much.
I think it was like the second year in racing. I think I really just like picked everyone apart I was so excited about a track because I never knew that you could just be a normal person and just go get on a track. I thought like you had to know people, like this was NASCAR to me, right?
Yeah.
And I would go around the paddock and I would just like interview girls. I'm like, oh, I'm putting together this segment, and some of them be like, okay, whatever, and then some would be like, oh my God, yeah, and then give me the interview. And I have them in the archives, and I always wanted to do something with them. But the thing is like, why over 40? Why now? Why did you wait so long? You know, because I don't even know, because I've been riding since I was 4 years old, but the majority of the women are over 40. So why? And I think the general consensus is that Shalina Marita said it. She nailed it. Of all the women that I interviewed, she said, because we don't take ourselves seriously. Like we've been pushed aside and suppressed, especially in a male-dominated sport, that we don't think that we could do it because, you know, we're not serious about doing it. But, you know, like the thing is that women know how to have fun, right? They know their job, how to have fun, whether they've been given a job or given fun, they're going to do a job, fun, right? Yes. So I think that was the general consensus. Like, you know, we just, you know, we grow up, you know, you don't get to ride motorcycles, you get to ride horses, or, you know, which is just as much of a dangerous sport as,
but it's more socially acceptable.
Right. And that's so crazy, you know, especially because of all the lessons that I've been able to learn, that my daughter's been able to learn, that my grandson's been able to learn, that I see this as it goes. And the awesome ladies that I've helped get out there and get over their fears, you know?
Yes. For sure. Oh my gosh. And it's so beautiful. Like everyone's just like leaning on each other to get there. You know, like I've had men say to me that I've mentioned that I want to learn to ride motorcycles. And the first thing they go to is, you know, the technical stuff. Oh, it's really hard. You know, the clutch, you do it with your toe and your one hand does this and another hand does that. And I'm like, well, you can do it, right? They're like, well, yeah, you know, I'm like, well, I can drive a manual transmission car because someone taught me how to do it. I am certain that if I get instruction, which I plan to, professional instruction on how to ride a motorcycle safely and correctly, I can learn. No matter how long it takes me, I'm confident I can learn if I'm educated in how to do it correctly. So yeah, there's the social stigma, there's the, you know, the condescending, you know, male attitude, you know, this is too technical for you to figure out.
And women too. I have to note that, like, sometimes it's more difficult to relate with women than it is men, because it could be me. You know, I'm kind of one that always tries to reflect in the mirror before I point a finger at somebody else, because it's part of me. But you know, I have to bring up the fact that, you know, sometimes when people are uncomfortable or they seem awkward, it might be because they're traumatized from something in their life that makes them feel that way. You
That's
know
an
what
excellent
I mean?
point. For sure. Yes.
You know, and the reaction of how people accept you or don't accept you, especially in this industry, is really sad sometimes, you know?
That's tough. Sadly, speaking of trauma, in addition to the, you know, the mental, psychological trauma you dealt with, you've had some pretty serious accidents. You've had a car accident that took you a long time to recover from.
2006, I had a car accident that killed my husband 3 weeks after I went.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that's, I think, where I picked, like, I mean, it took a long time to recover because I also had a traumatic brain injury and some significant damage to my heart, for one, and my body, and to recover from that. But I had, you know, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and it was hard for me to even learn how to run again, let alone ride a motorcycle. And that's where I correlate motorcycle riding and what it is for me. It took a lot for me to take my Ducati on that track that day. You know, I was by myself. Like, I didn't really know anybody. And a sense of me was trying to prove other people wrong. You know, they say that it gives you the power, but a sense of me fucking scared. And I just immediately, like, when I got out there, I started learning lessons, not just by crashing, but by being told to get off the track because I blew the first corner that you're not supposed to go over the white line. I get black flagged and I get pulled off, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like ready to have a meltdown. Oh, you're okay. You just did a little number, you know? But at the same time, there was huge mountains molehills to get over. And that's when I started correlating the two, and SheeMotos started evolving as something that I wanted to do to help other women get through their PTSD, because this for me was, I had to fix a whole lot of things before I can ride a motorcycle again. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, you're an adrenaline junkie, or you have the regular PTSD where you crave adrenaline because adrenaline is what did this to you. And, you know, and it is true at a certain point, but at the same time, for me, riding motorcycles, racing, literally the track, the street too, but I'm a little bit frightened of the street these days because so many of my friends have passed because of bad accidents. But on the track, more of a meditation. It's like everything falls together and you don't think of any of that: being molested, being in a car accident, losing my husband, almost amputating my arm. Like all these things disappear. The struggles I have with my daughter, daughters, it disappears, and you fall into this trance that is more meditative than sitting in front of my altar with my single incense, and that's what it is for me, and that's what I crave, is that serenity, that silence, that and those are the life lessons that I correlate motorcycle riding with.
Oh my God, that's fascinating. Yeah, you have to be so present when you are riding and put all of that other nonsense out of your mind.
It's your lean angle, it's your body position, it's your eyes, it's your brakes.
Wow.
I didn't even see a black flag.
Oh my gosh. So SheeMotos, as I mentioned, is your charity. And you had an amazing convo with a lady at Babes Right Out that was kind of like the final encouragement to, I love that story. Can you share that? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I'm full blown into racing, and I decide I'm going to rent an Indian motorcycle in Boston, fly there and do Babes Right Out East Coast. And because I had SheeMotos, I was able to set up a loaner for a tent with REI, because they're out there in Boston too.
Oh, right. Okay.
Kudos, REI. Kudos.
Yay.
So I got my bike, go get the tent, head down to head down to Babes Right Out. And I pull over the side of the road because I see these chicks. And I know they're going there because we're on the main, like the last 2 hours there, right?
So you had to ride all the way from Boston, Massachusetts up until that's the Catskills,
Newburgh,
right?
New York.
Oh my God. Okay. So that's on the other side of the Hudson River. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And it was so cool by myself. I was like, I didn't want to get a bike too close because I still wanted to do some me time, by myself. So I run into these ladies, and oh my gosh, were they a hoot. And I'm still friends with them on Instagram, Facebook. We haven't got to reunite since, but I remember, I think I was like, I just had started the Curves and Corners fundraisers, and Corners fundraisers are an event that we put on at the track, where we have workshops in the paddock, and then you get to go out on the track for 20-minute sessions with our awesome track day provider, Carter's at the Track.
And these are all in Northern California.
Yes, at Thunderhill Raceway Park. And so I was giving out a free track day, and I was in Boston, I got all my race garb on, and I'm on video, and I'm like, you can get a free track day, and I'm going to announce it today. And I remember walking up, I didn't really know where SheeMotos was going, where Curves and Corner, like I knew we did have one Curves and Corner scheduled, but I had no idea it would last for 5 years now. And I walked up to Anya, one of the Babes Right Out founders, and I was like, I was thinking about doing this, and it's just like solely track based, but it's co-ed, but it's women focused, and it's to raise awareness for PTSD. I started my charity. She's like, just do it. And I was like, and here I am, I'm 44, 45 at this point, and she's like 23, I think. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, just do it. And I'm like, I'm just do it. And I was like,
Okay.
We did. And it's evolved over the years. In fact, SheeMotos and its mission has evolved over the years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't just come to me overnight.
Sure.
Just come to us overnight. Like this whole thing has been, you know, losing some, gaining some, you know, the insight from others, the coalition of hands-on and volunteers that have helped, and, you know, the proceeds that have generated to get more people on, you know, it's just been a fantastic evolution, and I'm so proud, you know?
Yeah. For your fundraisers, where is the money going? Like, do you have specific groups that you sponsor or are helping to fund?
So our proceeds help to fund SheeMotos as a whole.
Okay.
And the proceeds that are generated for the motorcycle clinics and through the events go towards scholarships for women with PTSD that want to give a hand at trying motorcycling as an outlet.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it all goes towards their motorcycle training and education, which is spectacular.
Yes, for women that just don't think they can't. I'm hoping that this could be a giant hug to kind of pick you up and help you out there.
Yes. It's so great because there's so many women out there, you know, like myself, who literally have no immediate friends, no family who ride, but yet I have this dream, this passion. And it's not that people are really discouraging me, but I know they're just not going to be a part of it. And so I so want to, you know, reach out to other communities, you know, people like you and other women who are sponsoring, you know, groups and tours and things like the Litas, and, you know, to find that community. Go on a Babes Ride Out one day, you know, do a cross country tour, you know, those are all, you know, things I want to work towards. Yeah, I so love the idea of solo riding, you know, just for that peaceful, meditative, you know, and just the confidence building, like, wow, I can do this, you know, but for longer trips and things, it would be so beautiful to share that. There's I think in all the driving, I grew up in the New York area. I've only lived in Connecticut maybe now like 3 years. I see a lot of riders, and I know they're men because there's no helmet law in here, Connecticut. So no one's wearing a helmet. I know they're men.
Right.
I wish that there were more women out there riding and enjoying it. They may be, they're just not in the area where I am, you know, in the
there are.
Yeah, I know they're out there somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it. And it just, you know,
well, you know, I told you,
I want to make it happen.
On down here to California.
I know.
On the minis.
Oh my God. I am absolutely going to take you up on that, Shiree. I can't.
And if not, Feel Like a Pro's got really nice 400 stuff.
Oh my God. And when you told me I don't even need my license to do it, so even if I fail the MSF like 3 times, I'm still coming out there to ride those little mini motos.
I mean, you know, it's probably about the same cost.
Oh, right. Yeah, seriously, right? Just need that plane ticket. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. I'm definitely taking you up on that. That is just awesome, exciting.
I cannot wait.
Oh, thank you. You also did
as long as you take me ice fishing.
Ice fishing? I would never in a million years do that. I'm not the person to take you. I'm not the person.
I know you know someone.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, yes, I do, but it wouldn't be me. Yeah, sadly, yes. Oh my God. I don't even know why I live here. I hate the cold so much. I'm just so done with it. I don't even know why I'm here, honestly. I'm so done with winter. Oh, that's so funny.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Tell us about that really cool contest you won with that kind of
Law Tigers.
Yeah, Law Tigers. Sorry.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what started SheeMotos,
right.
Curves and Corners, Track Days for Ladies, all of this. It was a $10,000 scholarship that they were giving out to a female influencer. And we had to do a video submission contest. And so I started like pulling different video and pictures that I had to just kind of put together my story. And it's on my YouTube. I'm SheeMotos, SheeMotos. And it was like kind of just what happened and it's kind of a tragic story. And then basically I was just asking for sponsors. In the race world, the more professional you look, the better it is to get supporters, right? And so I was just trying to really kind of hone in on my professionalism, trying to navigate around the paddock and racing and the do's and the don'ts. You know, I'm at my age, in my 40s, I learned that you don't come in like a wrecking ball, although that is definitely my forte. I really, really tried not to with racing. But with that being said, I did the contest, and I got top 6 in the nation. And the video really paved the way for SheeMotos and the direction and the mission. As I was doing it, I didn't, like, my friends would ask me all the time, I know it's SheeMotos and I know that you're supporting women, but like, what is the mission? I'm like, I don't know, you know, all I know is I love motorcycles and I love how I feel when I'm done with them at the end of the weekend, and I can finally sleep until Wednesday, and then we have to do it again on Friday. But I didn't really know where it was going, and I wanted more women to, you know, find out that they could do it too. So I won top 6 in the nation, and La Tigers has been by me every step of the way, supporting, sponsoring, and then I went to my track day provider, the Carter's at the Track, my sponsor at the time, and Jesse, the owner. I asked him, I'm like, I have this idea about a track day for women, but we do education in the pit, and have a big party at the end, and all of these things. What do you think? And he's like, well, I like that it's supporting PTSD. And I feel like if there's 20% of women in motorcycling, I feel like then we're missing out on that 20%. So absolutely do it. And I have to give the Carters, Jesse and our first lady, Leah Carter, kudos, because they have actually supported me like to the fullest. And now, even now, we have our clinics in the paddock at Carter's at the Track. So not only you are on the big track, but you could do like a clinic on Saturday and get your body position down and your turn points and like all of those things. And then when you go out on the big track with your big bike, you could just all of that together. And it's just one giant weekend of endurance and specialty and downloading and taking notes and the serious part of motorcycling that keeps you safe. Huge element that I take seriously, but also that is missing in a lot of, you know, cultures, because like where you say you're from, there's no helmet law. Oh my God.
I know. Like, it's terrifying.
You know, terrifying. One of my very best friends lives in Illinois and she doesn't wear a helmet. I'm just like, she's a nurse.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it all kind of evolved. And it was awesome. It was awesome seeing my video blow up like that.
That's spectacular. I mean, so it helped you to synthesize. I mean, you knew in your heart why you were doing this and what you wanted to accomplish, but you're right. It can be very hard to synthesize it and explain it to other people, get it down into, you know, like a quote unquote business plan, put it down on paper in a cohesive kind of way. So that's incredible that it helped you further
everybody
do that.
Every mile, every rental, every airline ticket, every gallon of gas, like all of it played a role in the evolution of it. And it's still evolving, you know. I'm still, you know, learning how to be a people person and to expose myself, you know, because that's the hardest part.
Oh, it's very hard. Yes. And you are incredibly brave and just so special to share this, not just with me and my listeners, but just all the women that you're touching through your clinics and the track days and so forth. What is it like one-on-one with these women when you see them? And they're probably coming from many different, you know, stories. I understand you're not a therapist, but you're working with women, you know, exposing them to motorcycles as a form of healing, really. Probably coming from domestic violence, sexual abuse, you know, a whole variety of different. And here you are presenting them with this means of finding peace, finding confidence, just literally moving their lives forward. That has to be unbelievably.
It's always great when it goes textbook, but nothing's ever textbook, right?
For sure. Absolutely not.
And every time I want to just quit everything, there's this one person, and it could be one in 5 years, one in a year, one in a month, week, one in whatever. But the one person will like thank me so much, and I'm like, oh, I have to keep doing it. You know what I mean? I do. Yes. I love what I do. As you were saying that to me, I'm thinking about, what about the women that, I get on, like say, it's like you, little experience. I'm going to get you out here and I'm going to give you all this confidence and you go out there and crap. And then it's like, it's almost like you have to like start from scratch again. And how do you talk about getting back on after a crash? And actually that's going to be one of our workshops at Curves and Corners this year, is getting over a crash. Like that's a big deal. I mean, here we are doing this thing with motorcycles. We're gaining confidence from our abuses through motorcycles. We're getting this outlet through whatever we went through, whatever is going on with us, because we're all so different, but inherently with motorcycles, we're all doing it for the same reason, right? That throttle therapy, although you can
wind therapy.
But we all know what throttle therapy is, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
But how do you get a person to the water, so to speak? You help them drink and then they crash, right? And then what do you do? And that's a huge question, because that's a situation that it has to be done by their journey, and I absolutely love when people come to me and it's a great story, and they tell me that thank you and all of the things, and I'm like, but then I have one girl right now, she's giving me her motorcycle and she's like, get it, I'm not gonna ride it, it's not my life right now. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I failed, I feel like I'm not doing enough. So it's a double-edged sword, to be quite honest with you. It really is. It's a lot of work, but it's amazing work. I've always considered myself kind of a philanthropist, but this is on such a level where it doesn't always turn out great.
No, but that is life in a nutshell. And to me, in my mind, yes. And to me, in my mind, the fact that girl showed up at the track at all and was willing to work with you and try, even though she said, this isn't for me right now, she may very well come back to it in a month, 6 months, 3 years. You don't know that. Right. But the fact that she showed up and had the confidence to try, sometimes we have this fantasy in our mind of what we think things are going to be like, or what we want and what's going to be fun. And it turns out to be the exact opposite. But if you didn't have the courage to try, then, so to me, she succeeded. And to another point,
saying in racing.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. And just to that point as well, I mean, you are living proof that you can recover from a crash and move forward. You're managing this charity, these two businesses, and you had, a pretty nasty crash yourself about a year ago that you are still recovering from, while you're still managing your family, your business, your racing. So it is certainly possible. Yeah, it's a lot.
And I feel like sometimes it for me personally, it takes me outside of reality to be able to do this for other people. And I don't manage my own self as well as I manage other things or other people. Just kidding. Because it takes my attention away from me so that I can help other people.
Sure.
But I mean, it's kind of like that. You can't give oxygen to children if you don't take the oxygen first yourself, right?
Yes.
And so with that being said, it is a big saying in racing. A lot of times we get down to the grid and we're racing ourselves, a number of reasons. Somebody broke down, the grid's not big enough, or you're the only novice, whatever the case is, and you get the trophy. And it's like the stigma that you don't brag about your trophy on Facebook or social media because you raced yourself. And I think it's so demeaning, because in racing, what they say is showing up was half the battle, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
having your bike ready, having it be able to be teched, it's running, your warmers are on, you made it, you may have forgot your lunch meat. One case I forgot my racing boots and I wore my cowboy boots.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God.
But it's showing up. It is half the battle. And that rings so true, Linda. So true.
Yeah. So I absolutely commend her for that. Even if, she chose not to see it
Oh.
through. She showed up, and kudos to her. So let's talk more about what's coming up next weekend. TNTOnTrack days. That's your rider training. It's for beginner and intermediate riders. What is it like when someone shows up for the first time? What happens?
We do a riders meeting, and we just talk about the bikes a little bit. They're 2-strokes, so there's things that you need to know as far as like the power band, how to lift them, how to, whatever. But it's drills. It tests your endurance. It tests your athleticism. You are on this little mini motorcycle with a couple of different configurations for the clinic. And we really hone in on, first we go through like eye coordination with the throttle and your turning. And then slowly we move into body positioning to really get those turns down, because those are most important, right? And turns are so hard for people, especially slow roll turns. Speaking in terms of beginner, even intermediate riders on the street, they still, when they're making a right-hand turn and they stop and they roll, and if they have to like stop again because a car pulls out, they fall over a lot of the time. And it's because of, just your eye, your throttle, so basically what we do is we shove it down your throat.
Repetition. Perfect.
Repetition. Yeah. You're in a turn, your throttle, your eyes, your body, everything has to hit the same at the same points within the drill all day. We go from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we're constantly working on that to where your body has muscle memory. And then when you get out on the big track with your bike, or even on the street with your street bike, your body just kind of rolls into that muscle memory naturally, right?
That's amazing.
So we do offer some classes for elite racers that we pull in other racers like Rocco Landers in to help us do kind of an Aiden Tao. They're both Moto America junior champions. It was Moto America junior champion. The other one was Asian junior champion.
Okay.
And it's basically a racer forum to do the same kind of clinics, only on a little expert level.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So which track? That's at Thunder Hill?
Yep. That's at Thunder Hill Raceway. You could get your tickets at TNTOnTrack.
Perfect.
We have a whole bunch you could sign up for the year. They're on the website now. To go to Curves and Corners Ladies Track Day in July is going to be at cartersatthetrack.com. You can get your tickets there.
Fantastic. I'm going to list all of these links. You have a fantastic Facebook page as well. So you have Facebook, you have Instagram, and then you have your 2 different websites for TNTOnTrack, and then
TNTOnTrack and SheeMotos.
And where can they find Curves and Corners?
They could get a ticket off Facebook event page, Curves and Corners number 5. Click on the ticket link, and it'll link you right over to Carter's at the Track. And it's July 23rd and 24th, both days. You use the code GIRLPOWER22 and get the ticket for $130.
Yeah,
they could do both.
Okay, got it.
I believe it's $140 though. I think it's $140. I'm sorry. We moved to a different year. Sure. We moved to a different side this year because it's bigger. And so with that being said, with the inflation from COVID, things are a lot more now. So anyways, it's on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, we're good. So that's for the upcoming TNTOnTrack this weekend. It's $140 per day.
No, it's $300 per day for TNTOnTrack, and it's $140 for Curves and Corners.
Oh, okay.
Track day.
Oh my goodness, there's just so much to keep track of here. Okay, literally.
I know. Sorry. Maybe we'll set it all. Maybe that would be a good Right.
Do you want to share any future goals or plans that things you haven't like put into effect yet that you're hoping personally with racing and your charity?
Well, I would love to. Last year, before I had my accident, I crashed first round with AFM and almost amputated my arm. And I was supposed to go to Thailand with my team, and I didn't get to go race the FEM Asia Championship. So I would do that. I've always wanted to race sidecars, be the first Formula One girl team racing sidecars.
That's amazing.
My biggest goal, I guess, if I really did just really do a great year or years, I would love to. So every year for Moto America, they kind of do a halftime show. Sometimes they do like the ARMA, which is the sidecars, or the bikes that are heritage bikes, you know, like just like old bikes.
Yeah.
Do a race or whatever. One year they, 3 years ago, they started the baggers, King of Baggers. And then with that was born the hooligan class. Those were just supposed to be like kind of filler classes, but ended up being a big class. So I would absolutely love I would love for the feature class for Moto America for SheeMotos to be able to sponsor a class for women and have like a whole team of that have suffered from PTSD, put together a bike and, or bikes, put together a team of women that could just go out there and kick ass.
Shiree, that is phenomenal.
I would love that.
Oh my
I would love that. Yeah. It's so hard because I'm a racer at heart, through and through. And it's so hard to balance my race life with my life. And it's a lot, but like I said, it keeps me moving.
It's a lot of work, a lot of pressure, but obviously the end result is worth everything.
Yeah, we'll be doing this interview again when I can let you know the top secret news.
Oh, please. Absolutely. There will be a follow-up. Yes. Thank you. That's exciting. Okay. Oh my. All right.
Well, it's such a pleasure meeting you.
Shiree, thank you for your time. I appreciate it so much. All this beautiful, valuable information that you shared with my listeners. I can't thank you enough. And I wish you all success.
Okay, so we're ice fishing and we're getting on motorcycles together. That's the deal. Right?
How about ice skating? I like to ice skate. That I could help you with.
just give me somebody that'll help me.
Okay. Oh my God.
Connections.
So funny.
I'll ride my motorcycle out there.
Okay. Promise. It's a deal. Oh my gosh. Please, everyone, check out my Instagram. I'm going to post all of these cool links for anyone who is in the Northern California area or is willing to travel there this weekend. Please. You
can fly out. We have plenty
You absolutely can. If you can get there this weekend, it's March 26th and March 27th. So please, I'll have all the links there for her charity, her track days, everything. Please follow her. Yeah. She's so fascinating and so amazing and so inspiring.
Are you, Miss Storyteller?
Couldn't do it without you. Thank you again, Shiree. And please give your grandson a hug. I forgot to mention she rides with her 6-year-old grandson.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. You are the most badass grandma ever.
I can't wait to hear the stories he has.
Right. And so, see, like I said earlier, it is in the DNA and he is just literally passing it along.
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
I want to see pictures of that too. Post those, please. Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thanks again. Have a great
night.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sportbikegrrls for a complete schedule of all upcoming episodes, as well as more information about all of my amazing guests. Have a great day.